Aamna was a 28-year-old woman, a successful software engineer living in London. On the outside, she had everything: a good degree, a high-paying job, a loving family. But deep inside, something was not right. Aamna was constantly battling an invisible struggle, overthinking. Every small conversation, every minor mistake, every decision, she would replay in her mind over and over again. Did I hurt that person with my words? What if I made a mistake in my presentation? Will Allah be angry that I missed the Sunnah prayer today? Her mind was always racing, not in peace, but in fear. The overthinking slowly began to take over her life. Her sleep was disturbed. Her energy levels were dropping. She feared Allah deeply, but instead of feeling comfort in her faith, she was overwhelmed by guilt and doubt. Her Imaan and Tawakkul were weakening. She started doing wudu repeatedly, doubting whether it was valid. During Salah, if her attention wavered for even a second, she feared her prayer wasn't accepted. Aamna's family noticed her struggles and tried to help, but no advice seemed to work. Until one day, during Salah, she nearly fainted. That moment became her wake-up call. She realized she couldn't go on like this. She needed help. With courage and hesitation, she reached out to an Islamic counselor. At first, she was shy, even ashamed to share her problems. What if they think I have weak Imaan? She wondered. But when she opened up, the counselor listened with compassion and said something she never forgot. Aamna, even the Sahaba had moments of sadness, worry, and doubt. Allah didn't blame their emotions. He guided them through it. The counselor began explaining something powerful. Overthinking comes when we try to control everything. But Islam teaches us to surrender, to place our trust in Allah. There are things you can't control, and that's okay. He recited a verse from Surah Al-Baqarah. Allah does not burden a soul beyond that it can bear. Quran 2:286. That verse hit her heart and said, "You're overthinking because you think you have to do everything perfectly. But Allah loves consistency, not perfection. Let go. Trust Him." From that day on, Aamna began her Tawakkul journey. She didn't become perfect overnight, but now she understood the difference between overthinking and trust. She would do her best and leave the rest to Allah. If something was out of her control, she stopped forcing herself to manage it. Whenever her mind began racing with worry, she paused and whispered, "Hasbi Allahu la ilaha illa huwa." Allah is sufficient for me. There is no God but He. When doubts about her prayer or wudu crept in, she remembered the hadith where the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Allah has forgiven my ummah for the thoughts that occur in their hearts, as long as they don't act upon them." She began to journal her thoughts, a practice to release the chaos in her mind. Writing helped her observe her own thinking with clarity, without judgment. Slowly, Aamna began to live in the present moment. She smiled more, felt lighter, and prayed with more khushu, devotion. She stopped fearing Allah as a distant judge and started loving Him as Ar-Rahman, the most merciful. 6 months later, Aamna sat in the corner of a mosque after Fajr, raising her hands to the sky in peace. The same girl who used to be paralyzed by her thoughts was now filled with gratitude and hope. Were her doubts and thoughts completely gone? No. But they no longer scared her. She had tools, trust, and tawakkul. She once told her mother, "Ami, I used to think overthinking meant I cared deeply. But now I know. It meant I didn't fully trust Allah. But now I do." And to those who are listening today, remember this: Islam teaches us to keep hope and fear of Allah in balance. Some people fear so much that they forget He is Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. Their guilt pulls them away from Allah, and Shaitan uses that guilt to keep them from seeking forgiveness and moving forward. Others lean so much on hope that they keep sinning, saying Allah will forgive. They forget that Allah is also Al-Jabbar, the compeller, the one who holds people accountable. True faith is not about being perfect. It's about trusting, repenting, and walking forward with hope and humility. So if you're struggling like Aamna did, don't hide, don't be ashamed. Reach out, ask for help, talk to Allah. Your journey back to Him starts with one honest dua.